Hello everybody, my name is Paige, and hopefully this YouTube video can be helpful in one way or another. Either you are a student and need a little bit of a reminder on how to do some of this stuff from class, or you're brand new and are curious about how to make a WebGL build using Github and Git Desktop. So first off, right here we have GitHub, which it keeps a version history of your code, and it's a source code management. It allows multiple people to work on a project. It also you can also revert back to previous versions. It's super helpful, and it's what we're going to be using to make a WebGL build and so on and so forth. So I highly suggest, before pausing right here and going and creating an account, as you can see, I'm already logged into my little account right here. Your name should, for the most part, be semi-professional. It can be like a username though, because if you are going to apply for jobs and you're going to put this on your application, you probably don't want an absolute buffoon of a name. So we are going to go over and go to GitHub Desktop. This is the other thing you will probably want to download on your computer. I'm very sorry to make you download all these things, but it will help in the future. So here is the link, and I'll have the links down below in the description for making just one Git account, and then you will just need to download the GitHub Desktop onto your computer, which is it's fairly simple. You just download it, open when done, the basics. If you need any help, just comment down below and hopefully I can assist. Okay, so we are going to get started on my little GitHub right here. We are going to go ahead and create a new repository for starters. So under repositories right here, I don't know, this should hopefully look something similar to this. You could be in a different project and then you need to back out, but for the most part you want to go to repositories and new. You should have something that is similar to this. So we're going to just do a test subject here. So we're going to just do test demo. If you do have a space in your name, it will automatically put a little hyphen in between, so just keep that in mind. You can always put your little under dash in there. But anyways, for now, let's just test demo. We'll do a space just so you guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and keep mine public. For the most part, you should be able to keep yours public unless for some circumstance you don't want other people to see your code, but it's not bad to have it public, so anyone that is wanting to look at your code for maybe like job hiring, they can go ahead and see it fairly easily. Next, this is a couple important steps. You're going to add a Readme and a git ignore. The git ignore, you're going to go to this drop down selection and you can type in and filter Unity, because that is going to be the platform we're using today. Okay, so that, make sure you have all these things, and then create repository. Cool, something like this should pop up. This is exactly what we want. We want a git ignore and a readme, and there's the name of the project file. Next, we are going to go over and, sorry, I'm not very organized on my little setup here. GitHub Desktop. So hopefully you should have this downloaded by now, and also it's very blinding white. So we are going to do File, Clone Repository. You're going to want to clone repository to your desktop. So go ahead and hit Clone Repository. Some of you may, especially if you're new to all of this, may have a brand new page, and there should be like 3 buttons, and one of them should be Clone Repository, hopefully, unless there's an updated version of GitHub by this point. So we're going to go ahead and scroll and find the project name that you just created. So we remember, I don't know if you remember, but we just created test demo. So file, clone repository, scroll down, test demo. Next, before you hit clone, go ahead and choose the location of where you want this file to be based. I highly recommend having not a T drive, but a like 1 terabyte hard drive. It's very handy, especially when you're dealing with large projects, because it'll fill up the space on your computer very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and do new file. Sorry for all this junk. I'm truly sorry. We're going to do test file. Normally you want like your class name here is a good suggestion. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and select that file and hit clone. This should only take a second or two, and there it goes. Okay, now we have that. So we can minimize this, minimize your GitHub, so both desktop and GitHub are minimized. Next, you're going to want to bring up your Unity Hub, which is a tiny icon. I don't know if you can see this, but it's saved on my other. It won't let me. Oh, it won't. Ooh. This is what I'm clicking on now, just so you know. Yeah, this is the little icon. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get it out of here. Next, we're gonna want to go ahead and do new project. I highly suggest doing this all from the start of like a new project because it's very helpful. Oh, look at all those fun little things we can do. But we're gonna just go ahead and do 3D for now. 3D and 2D does have a difference. So I always highly suggest doing 3D, and you can always import 2D aspects, where if you start with 2D, you can't always import everything in 3D as of now. So we're gonna go ahead and just do, so we called it test demo, so we're gonna call it test demo project, if I can type today. A good little reminder is to have a different name than what you named this. If you name them the same thing, you might get a little lost when doing your build for your WebGL build, so highly suggest to just tack on project to the end of whatever you're naming. So for example, test demo project. It's a good little habit to get into. So we're going to go ahead and find that folder we created. Here it is. Test demo. So we're going to go ahead and click on that guy. So we're saving this test demo project into the test demo file. Okay, just saying there's a difference. Selecting file and create. This might take a second or two, and it's on my other screen that it's building Unity. And it's okay if it takes 15 minutes. It happens sometimes. But sometimes it could go fast. But I will see you guys in a second. Okay, and we are back. You should have something that looks similar to this. This is 2020 version, so you never know. For now, we're just gonna go ahead and hit that little X. Okay, so we have our scene right here, and that's all you need. You can add your scripts, you can add your assets, you can add your prefabs. But for now, we're just going to do a basic build, so that way you can kind of see it on the internet. So first we're going to go up to File, and then File, Build Settings. This should pop up. Next, you're going to want to add open scene. Depending on how many scenes you have and what order they should be in, you want to make sure any scene you want for your WebGL build should be in here. So we're just going to go ahead and add the sample scene. Next, we're going to want to switch over to WebGL, which at the end, if you don't have this, I will show you how to get this. I promise. Okay. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do a WebGL and switch platform. Should be fairly fast. I know I'm making everybody wait while it loads. Okay, so next we have, perfect. Okay, so sometimes you can do a development build and this will show anything that you have in your console. Other times you don't want everything to be seen in your console, so we're gonna leave that unchecked for now. But these are the two parts that are coming up that people most likely will have an error, and this is gonna be the solving solution. First, we're gonna go to player settings, and then in player settings, under player right here, you're gonna scroll down to your little WebGL tab. So you might be on this, but you wanna go to WebGL settings, and then under compression format, instead of gzip, you're going to want to disable compression format. And this one, so many errors can occur with this one. Too many to name. So this is one of the little buggers that you can fix. And then we're going to go ahead and exit out of that. The next one, before we hit build, is you're going to want to go into your file. Not 3D prints. And we're going to go ahead and do find our project. So that's the test demo file, and then we're going to go to the test demo project, but we're going to go and find the git ignore. You can just open this up with OneNote or Notepad, just something fairly simple, and right here we're going to go ahead and get rid of all these little guys. But then we're also going to add two things. So we're going to add a little hashtag or number, whatever you want to call it. We're going to call it hashtag to pretty much comment out build and builds. And this will usually be an error of when you go to push it in Git Desktop of, oh, the file is too large. And if you get rid of these two lines with a little comment, it'll assist. Now don't forget to go to File, Save, or Control S for a quick save. Okay, we can exit out of those two things. Now we're gonna build. There's also a build and run option which you can completely do. Doesn't work for everybody, so I suggest just doing a build. And we're gonna want to maybe just do desktop, and as you can see I have some other build files in here. So we're gonna do new folder and call this build for test demo. Just something basic, it's nothing important. You can delete these files later. So we're gonna select file and let that do its thing. I will be back. Okay, and we are back. So the test demo just finished updating. Now we have our build files. But before we commit, we want to find our file again. So right here in test demo file, you should have test demo project, a git ignore, and a readme. This is where you just copy and paste into that file. You do not want to be inside your test demo project. It looks completely different. You want to be on this outer layer when you copy and paste your new build items into here. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and go back to our Git desktop, and as you can see, a lot of changes have been made to our project. Look at all those. So first to commit this, you have to do some kind of summary. Usually something useful is preferable, so saying create to build. Okay, just had to add the smiley face so you all knew what I was doing. Go ahead and commit to main, this big blue button at the bottom. And we're gonna just go ahead and give that a second. Or two. Okay, there we go. No local changes, perfect. And then right here it says push commits to origin remote. So we're gonna go ahead and hit push origin. Okay, next we will be able to view this on GitHub. Go to view GitHub. And as you can see, our test demo looks a lot different. We have a couple additional items. We have the index, the template data, and the build. Perfect. As you can see, it also shows right here that little comment that I made on anything that was changed. So to get the link to the WebGL build, you go to Settings, along this tab up here in Test Demo, Settings, go down to Pages, and then right here in GitHub Pages, we're going to go under Source, None, we're going to click Main. You could have multiple branches, but for now, we're going to just go ahead and click Main. You don't want to change this, you do want it as a root, and then save. And that's it. Well, kind of. But that's almost it. So whenever this little blue box is blue and not green, as you will see in a second, it means that it's still updating. You might have to give it a second before it's fully developed. But if you go ahead and refresh your web page, it should be green, and then that means that it should be up to date and ready to go. Let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, this is our Unity web scene. So a good idea is to copy link address, go back to this code tab, and then in the Readme, see this little pencil button right here? We're going to go ahead and click on that. Under test demo, we're going to enter, and paste. Control V is all I did, or you can just paste. So now that should be on the Readme. Go down and commit changes. Cool. Okay, you can go back to your code tab, and it should be there. And you should be able to click on it and have your scene. Sometimes if your Unity scene's not loading, one of the steps that you could have missed, or there could be an error with your actual WebGL build itself. Usually if you have any scripting errors, it will not build. Just keep that in mind for future reference. So a few things we are going to real quick cover, besides just, there you go, that's a WebGL build, is a couple of good things to remember is you can go back into commits, and here is commit history. So as you can see, this is the commit I made on October 24th, and then you can also go in here for older or newer project history. So if going back to the code, don't forget a portable hard drive is a good thing to have. Scripts, yes, scripts. So in our test demo project, which is the Unity project that you made, under assets, well right now I only have scenes, but under assets is usually where you could have a file that says scripts or prefabs or resources or numerous different things. But especially if you're a sim student, this is what you should be looking at whenever you go into your project, and this link at the top is what you would want to turn in. That's for sim students. Sorry if you're not a sim student. But the GitHub is not just only good to make a WebGL build. It's very convenient, but it's also so that way professors or industry people can go in and actually look at your scripts, look at any items that you use to build your scene. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of my other projects to look at the history. So we're gonna just go into, I don't know what project you guys would like to see. Cubathon. Cubathon is a fun one. I have it very updated. So we're going to go ahead and go to my old commits, and as you can see, a ton of different options. This is where I had my first project build before I did a new WebGL build and updated it. So, but you can also go back to this previous commit and see what changes have been made to files or the project itself. That's not a great example, but it's an idea. Fix build. Okay, also some of my comments are not always the best, but they are helpful for me sometimes, but you also want them to be helpful for others. And I think that is all. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. You can like and subscribe with this poor video quality that I have. And I'm very sorry for any sound issues. This is first video, kind of, so thank you everyone for coming, and I hope that this was helpful. There's all the repositories, test demo. So I hope that you can either use this for your first time or that this is helpful for future projects and settings. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye! Okay, I said I promised I would show you how to make sure you have GitHub on your project file items, and we are going to do that real quick. So in Unity, we are going to go ahead and hit install Unity, and when you add a new version of Unity, you want to go ahead and select the latest and greatest, next, and then along with Microsoft Visual Studios, you're going to want to click WebGL Build Support. You can also go ahead and click some of these other ones like iOS or Linux or Mac, Universal Windows Build Platform, documentation, but just make sure you have this WebGL one selected. And then click Next, and I have read and agreed, done, and that should help you there on getting WebGL into your Unity project. So I hope that helped, and thank you again. Bye-bye.